In this video, we're going to show you how to perform an oil change on your Honda Ridgeline with a 3.5 liter V6. With the hood open, the first step, go ahead and open up that oil fill cap. I'm going to unscrew that and set that on top of the engine. I'm going to move right on over to the other side of the valve cover and pull out that oil dipstick and go ahead and wipe that and set this on top of the engine. Now the reason why I like to do this here is that when you go to close the hood, if you forgot to add engine oil, well, you're going to see your dipstick out and the cap off, so that gives you a little indication there that you forgot to do a step. So this is just a safety precaution starting with this. Now underneath the vehicle on the right hand side lower portion of the engine, you're going to locate the drain plug on the oil pan itself. Now that's a 17 millimeter. We're going to use our box wrench here. It's always good to be wearing gloves when doing this here and have your catch can ready to go. Now as I'm unthreading this here, I'm applying inward pressure on that bolt. That'll help hold some of that oil at bay. And once you feel that bolt starting to skip a little bit, you know that it's completely unthreaded, and then pull that out. There you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and let that drain. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and clean the bolt. You can use some spray solvent or just wipe it down with a rag. Now when you have the bolt and you clean everything up, there is a crush washer on here. It's always ideal to go ahead and replace this. It's not always mandatory, but you want to go ahead and do an inspection on it. If it's in good shape and it doesn't look like there's any burrs or anything on it, you could probably go ahead and clean it and reuse it. I'm going to go ahead and install the washer on the drain plug. And then let's go ahead and wipe down the oil pan here and install the bolt. Thread that on as far as you can. And then we're just going to use our wrench. We're going to gently snug that down. Let's go ahead and torque this down to 29 foot-pounds. Once you're all done here, go to give this a quick spray with some solvent. Just clean that up. With this clean, let's go ahead and do the oil filter next. Now the oil filter is located here on the passenger side, right inside the wheel well. You do not have to remove the front wheel to go ahead and access this here. However, we did just for better camera viewing. You use a oil filter wrench here. Go ahead and loosen that. Obviously, we have the catch can underneath the vehicle. Make sure you hold this as it's coming off. You don't want to drop it because then oil might backsplash into your face. Drop that down and then empty out the oil. And give that a couple moments to drain. Go ahead and clean this. And one thing you want to pay attention to here is make sure that the surface of where the oil filter is going to go onto is smooth and clean. Now sometimes the rubber O-ring seal from the old oil filter may come off of the oil filter and stick here, so you want to make sure that that is removed. Clean that up. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the residual oil that had leaked off the inside of the frame. All right, we're now going to go ahead and prime our oil filter. Now we can do this on this vehicle because the filter pretty much goes up straight. If you're installing a filter and it's sideways, it's much harder to do that without the oil leaking out. But we're going to take the oil And we're going to fill this up probably about 3/4 of the way. And what this helps prevent is a dry start. When you start up the engine, the filter is already primed, pushing oil through up into the engine. So take some of the oil on your glove and put a little bit on that O-ring seal. That'll help slide that in and secure. Now we can go ahead and install our filter. You can take your new filter, line that up, and thread that on. All right, the filter is bottomed out. You can use your hand to go ahead and snug that down. You do not need a tool. 2-hand tight, good and snug. Now right here is a good tip for you to identify what type of oil to use. This particular vehicle requires a 5W-20 weight, so you can go ahead and purchase your oil accordingly. Go ahead and grab a clean funnel. Now this engine requires 4.5 quarts of oil. So we're using the quart that we had already started to prime the oil filter with, so we're going to empty that out. And we're just going to continue adding until we reach our 4.5 quarts. We're just finishing up with our 1/2 quart right here. Now that we've added our 4.5 quarts of oil, let's go ahead and install our oil cap. Gently snug that down. Now we can grab our oil dipstick. And on our oil dipstick, what we're going to be looking for here on the end is we have the crosshatch area. Normally what we're looking for is when this is filled up, it should be right around the top area or maybe just into the middle. If it's down to that bottom crosshatch or it's not even touching that oil dipstick, you want to go ahead and add oil accordingly. But if we added the proper amount, which is that 4.5 quarts, we should be reading in there. So what we're going to do is install our dipstick. I'm going to go ahead and start up that engine, and we're going to let it run for about 20 seconds, and then we can shut it back down, and we're going to come back and check our oil level. Now after we start up the engine, we can go ahead and pull this up, and we're going to inspect this. And we're going to see that our oil level is perfect. It's just above the middle of the crosshatch area, so that's perfect. Go ahead and install our dipstick. Make sure that it's fully seated. I'm going to insert your key, turn it to the on position. That's going to light up your dash cluster here, and you can see on the bottom of the dash there, ours actually defaulted to the oil life at 50%. We changed our oil a little bit early. Otherwise, if you're already at your time frame to change, it's going to give you a service due. So you go ahead and press the select button. We have select and reset on the right side of the dash, right by the selector lever. And you can see if you press the select button, it's going to cycle through and it's going to bring you through to the oil life. So what we're going to do is we're going to press and hold the reset and hold it for about 10 seconds. So now we've held that for 10 seconds and it brings up our maintenance reset. You're going to come up to select and you have the N right here and you want it to go to yes. And then you can press the reset and it resets your oil life to 100%. You're all set. You can shut off that key.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.